My childhood 3D Mario game was Super Mario Galaxy, and I love it. In fact, I love every 3D Mario game that I've played. And yet, there was one I never played. So, after having it kicking around in the All-Stars collection for 5 years, I decided to finally play Super Mario Sunshine for the first time. I'm a Gen Z kid with no nostalgic attachment to this game, so I figured it might be interesting to share what my first experience was like. I did 21 shines for this first session. I won't cover every shine I did, but you should be able to get the general gist of my progression. The start of the game I did know about. You've got Mario being framed by Shadow Mario, and this little tutorial on the airstrip. I moved around for a bit, got used to FLUDD, did this one boss, and then got thrown in jail. It was pretty zany with some funny bits, but also a bit slow. It's interesting to see how this team eventually improved on their storytelling with Galaxy. But, in Isle Delfino, I actually got met with what I think was this game's true first thing of brilliance. Shadow Mario doing this jump. I saw him spin around and get on top of the roofs, and I was like, can I do that? So after a bit of trial and error, yeah, I did it. The game didn't tell me anything about Mario's moveset. Just from watching Shadow Mario, I discovered some nice movement. That's cool. In Bianco Hills, I had a pretty fun time going through the first level. I liked this little water wheel thingy. But after beating this one boss, again, I noticed something on top. So I went forward a bit and... blue coin. I know these are a problem later on for 100%, but as a casual reward for exploring, I like them. They're a bit better than a 1-up for a secret, and create additional challenges in the levels. These kind of feel like precursors to the Odyssey Moons. I went back to Delfino Plaza and fought this guy. Again, okay, you know what, I'll just say it. The most disappointing thing to me about Sunshine so far is the boss fights. Mario essentially has a gun, so I figured we'd get some cooler boss fights. But a lot of these so far are just waiting around to shoot water at a thing. And boss fights get reused a bit. There's one I liked I'll get to later, but I hope these get better. But after the repeat boss, I went into Ricco Harbor and... this level's great. The chain link fences fit the harbor theme very well, and there's a ton of cool parkour you can do. And there's multiple paths to get to the boss with the shine. It's fantastic. This is where Sunshine began to really click for me. After I unlocked the next level, I started going back and forth between all the ones I've gotten so far. At Gelato Beach, there is another thing I realized. I really like all the level themes. They managed to stay cohesive with the tropical island, while also standing out as pretty distinct. Windmill Hills, a bustling harbor, and a vacation beach are all pretty different from Super Mario 64, and they lead to fun challenges. I also like how each level has a ton of NPCs walking around. It's different from 64 and Galaxy, and makes each area feel really lived in, as well as providing some natural tutorial points. I eventually reached the Sandcastle secret, and I fumbled my jumps a bit. I do like this game's controls, especially wall jumping with the hover nozzle, but you've gotta experiment a bit. I learned you could backflip, but it's not attached to a button. Weird, but I was able to use that to beat the level. I also explored town a bit. At first I thought this one fruit fetch quest was going to be an annoying side quest, but then I realized that the point is that you can jump over the roofs with the fruit. It's like a tutorial for moving around town faster. I also found that one secret with the super fast speedrun. I can tell, I'm going to love Delfino Plaza. At Pianta Park, I got to Bowser Jr. and the first good boss fight of the game. Using the cannons along a roller coaster track is exactly what I wanted for FLUDD. It's a creative idea that can't really be done without them. Then I did the cannon secret and had to learn how to dive. I'm not even 20 shines in, and Sunshine is teaching me how to use my entire moveset. I really like that. Most Mario games would save that for later. So aside from bosses, I've been having a pretty great time. But then... I didn't really like the 8 red coins mission for Pianta Park. It was annoying to go to these ships over and over again whenever I'd fall off, and then sometimes, I'd just clip through. It was a tedious process. So then I went to the second PD boss and... it was also tedious. I'm glad someone told me I could spray him down with water, but running around the stage and shifting the camera to fight a boss I already did before was a bit lame. Then for the Dirty Lake secret, it wasn't a bad level, but I did get frustrated at points. Like, come on, really? I'm glad they gave you extra lives at least, and I do like how getting to the first moving platform requires a good advanced jump. But I didn't want to end my Sunshine session on a downer, so I went back to Gelato Beach and... Hey, it's the Sandbird. I liked the challenge of getting the red coins, and using the tower to see when to jump when the bird shifted. It was creative, and was a nice way to use the hover nozzle. So, I got the shine, and called it a day. All in all, aside from some blemishes at the end, I've really liked what I've played as Super Mario Sunshine so far. I like the theming, a lot of the level design, and Mario's general movement. It feels like Mario 64 with a bit more of a linear focus for its missions, which I'm down for. But a friend did tell me that the first few levels of Super Mario Sunshine are the best ones, so I'll see how I feel when I continue later. But that's my journey so far. If you want to keep up with my Sunshine adventures, make sure to subscribe.